I want you to pause for a second and really think about this. Think about every small decision you made today that quietly, almost invisibly, led you here. The exact moment you picked up your phone. The scroll that could have kept going, but didn't. The split second where something made you stop right here instead of anywhere else. Out of everything fighting for your attention right now. Out of all the noise, the distractions, the endless content, this is what you're looking at. And I want you to consider something. What if that wasn't random? What if it wasn't just the algorithm doing its job, but something deeper, quieter, more intentional? Because you are not just another viewer passing through. You didn't accidentally land here. You are someone who has been waiting, maybe for months, maybe for years, maybe for something you couldn't even fully explain, but something inside you, something beyond logic, beyond explanation, guided you to this exact moment. And the reason it did is because you are standing at a threshold. You might not have the words for it yet, but you can feel it, can't you? That subtle shift in the air, that strange stillness that doesn't feel empty. It feels charged, like the silence just before a storm breaks open. Something is about to change. And before you skip ahead, before your mind tries to dismiss this, stay with me, because what I'm about to say is the reason this reached you today. Not yesterday, not months ago, today. Let me describe your year so far. You've been doing the work, not perfectly, not flawlessly, but honestly, sincerely, consistently. You've been showing up when it was hard, trying when it felt pointless, adjusting when things didn't go your way, growing, even when no one noticed. And yet, the thing you've been working toward, the breakthrough, the love, the shift, the version of yourself you can almost feel, it hasn't arrived. Not yet. Meanwhile, you look around, and it feels like everyone else is moving forward. You scroll through other people's lives, seeing their wins, their moments, their finally happened stories, and you feel something complicated. You're happy for them, truly. But underneath that, there's a quiet question, one you don't say out loud. Why not me? Why not yet? And slowly, the waiting begins to change you. You become careful with your hope. You celebrate quietly, just in case. You stop letting yourself feel too excited, because it hurts when nothing follows. You've learned how to protect yourself from your own expectations. But let's be honest for a moment. That carefulness isn't strength. It's exhaustion. Wearing a mask. And you've been carrying it for longer than you realize. So hear this. Really hear it. Not just as words passing by. The waiting is not proof that you've been forgotten. It is not evidence that you've been overlooked. The waiting is evidence that what's coming for you is not ordinary. Stay with me here because this part matters. There's a concept in architecture called a threshold. It's the space between two rooms, not fully inside either one. It belongs to neither. And standing in a threshold is one of the most disorienting places you can be, because you've already left what was familiar, but you haven't arrived at what's next. You can't settle. You can't go back, and you can't fully see forward. That is where you are right now. Not stuck, not behind, not lost. You are at a threshold. And here's what most people don't realize. From the inside, a threshold feels exactly like being lost. The confusion feels the same. The uncertainty feels the same. That strange sense of, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, feels identical. But they're not the same thing. Being lost means you've taken a wrong turn and need to go back. A threshold means you are exactly where you're supposed to be, at the precise point of crossing, and there is only one direction left, forward. The reason this reached you today is because you are not approaching the threshold anymore. You are standing in it, right now. That feeling you've been having, that quiet sense that something is shifting, even if you can't explain it, that is not your imagination. That is awareness. Something is moving toward you, at the same speed you are moving toward it. You haven't been waiting in an empty space, you've been standing in a doorway, and the door is already beginning to open from the other side. Now let's talk about timing. Not as comfort, but as truth. Think back to a moment in your life when something arrived at exactly the right time. Not the time you wanted it, the time you were actually ready for it. Notice the difference. The relationship that came when you no longer needed it to complete you. The opportunity that appeared right after you unknowingly became capable of handling it. The clarity that showed up the morning after your hardest night. Those moments weren't random. They were precise. Because timing isn't about delay, it's about alignment. The universe is not withholding from you, it is calibrating you. There's a version of what you want that if it arrived too early, you wouldn't be able to hold it. Not because you are not worthy, but because you wouldn't recognize it, sustain it, or grow with it the way you're meant to. This is not punishment, it is precision. And here's the part most people never see. Every single day you've spent in this waiting phase has been a day of invisible construction. Work has been happening, just not in places you can easily measure. It's been happening in your patience, in your awareness, in your emotional depth, in the quiet ways you've changed. You are not the same person you were when this began. Look closer. You think nothing has happened, but everything has shifted. The foundation is different now. The structure is stronger. And here's the truth you need to hold on to. The construction is almost complete. What's being built inside you and around you is something your past self simply couldn't have carried. Now, I want you to receive this next part like it was written only for you. Because in a way, it was. What is meant for you is already in motion, not as a possibility, not as a maybe someday, as something actively unfolding right now, beneath the surface. The universe does not place deep desires inside you by accident. Those quiet, persistent desires, the ones that don't fade no matter how much time passes, are not random thoughts. They are directions, coordinates. They exist because they are meant to be met. And the reason this message reached you today is because you are finally close enough to the crossing to understand it. If you had heard this months ago, it would have felt like empty words. But now it lands differently because something in you recognizes it. You can feel it. Your time isn't coming. Your time is arriving right now, in motion, already unfolding. The gap between where you are and where you're going is not as wide as it feels right now. It only appears that way because you're standing in the middle of it, in that quiet, in-between space where progress is happening, but not yet visible. And still, even here, even now, it is closing, quietly, so quietly that most people miss it, not with noise, not with sudden dramatic shifts, but in subtle adjustments, in unseen alignments, in small internal changes that don't announce themselves. Steadily, step by step, layer by layer, breath by breath. Even on the days you feel like nothing is happening, something is. Even on the days you question everything, something is still moving. Even when it feels like you've paused, life hasn't. It's continuing to rearrange things in your favor, in ways you can't yet measure. And inevitably, whether you rush or resist, whether you feel ready or completely uncertain, what is meant to meet you will meet you. Because some things in life are not optional endings. They are destined intersections. And one day, maybe not far from now, maybe sooner than your mind expects, you're going to look back at this exact period of waiting, this stretch of time that felt confusing, slow, uncertain, even heavy, and suddenly, it will all make sense. Not partially, not vaguely, clearly. You'll understand every delay, every time something didn't work out the way you planned, every door that closed when you were sure it was the right one, every moment where you questioned yourself, your path, your timing. You'll see it differently, not as setbacks, but as redirections. You'll remember the nights you overthought everything, the mornings you woke up feeling unsure, the days you almost convinced yourself to give up. And you'll realize those were not wasted moments. They were necessary ones. Every moment of doubt shaped your clarity. Every delay strengthened your foundation. Every pause protected you from something you couldn't yet see. And those times you almost gave up, those matter more than you think. Because you didn't. You stayed. You continued. Even if it was messy, even if it was slow, even if it didn't look impressive, you kept going. And that is the reason you'll arrive. You will see why it had to take this long. Not because life was working against you, but because it was working with precision. You weren't being held back. You were being prepared. And when that realization finally lands, you won't feel regret. You won't wish it had happened faster. You won't wish you skipped this chapter. You'll feel something unexpected. Gratitude. Deep, quiet, undeniable gratitude. Because you'll understand that if it had happened earlier, if things had worked out on your timeline instead of the right timeline, you wouldn't be who you are now. And who you are now is exactly who needed to arrive at that moment. Because what's coming is not meant for who you used to be, not for the version of you who doubted their worth, not for the version of you who needed external validation, not for the version of you who wasn't ready to hold what they were asking for. What's coming is meant for the version of you that has been forming quietly through every experience, every challenge, every moment of growth. It's meant for who you are becoming right now, in this moment, in this very phase you sometimes question. So before you leave this, pause again, not casually, not absent-mindedly, not as something you'll forget in the next few minutes. Do this like it matters, because it does. Write it down somewhere you can see it again. Say it out loud so your own voice can hear it, or hold it firmly in your mind, clearly, intentionally, without hesitation. Let it settle deeper than surface-level words. My timing is not late. I am exactly where I need to be. Say it again, slowly. My timing is not late. I am exactly where I need to be. Not as a wish, not as something you hope is true, as something you decide is true. Because the moment you stop treating your timeline like a mistake, like something that went wrong, like proof that you've fallen behind, is the exact moment everything begins to shift. That's when you start to see your life differently, not as a series of delays, but as a carefully unfolding path. A path that is precise, a path that is intentional, a path that is still in motion, and you are not off track. You're not late. You're not missing anything. You are on it, right now, exactly where you need to be. Remember this, nothing about your journey has been random. Not the opportunities that didn't work out, not the people who came and went, not the doors that closed, even when you were certain they were yours, not the time it took, not the waiting, not even this moment. Everything has played a role. Everything has contributed. Everything has been part of shaping the path you're walking. You are more ready than you feel. Even if doubt still visits you, even if uncertainty still lingers, you are more seen than you believe. Even when it feels like no one fully understands your journey, even when it feels like your efforts go unnoticed, and you are closer than you have ever been, closer than yesterday, closer than last month, closer than all the moments when you thought nothing was changing. You don't need perfect clarity. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need a complete map of what's ahead. You don't even need to feel fully confident. All you need is one thing, the willingness to keep moving forward, even if the step is small, even if the direction feels uncertain, even if your voice shakes while you take it, because that's how thresholds work. You don't stand there forever trying to understand them. You don't wait until everything makes sense. You don't wait until fear disappears. You cross, you move, you step forward, while still feeling unsure. That's the nature of it. You don't figure it all out first. You walk through, and understanding meets you on the other side. So go ahead, take the step, not because you're completely ready, but because you're ready enough. And right now, that is more than enough.